Hey guys, we are watching Hammer Nations
Old Spice Man
today.
styling pomade offers a
We're gonna be
Your
we're
dad and I
we're
decided that
reacting.
all you boys are gonna be Eagle Scouts because we believe this will help prepare you for the real world.
Okay.
Huge accomplishment.
Wait, first, if you don't know, I'm Ultra Bro 5000. One sec, I'm done showing my face. Sorry guys, I'm sorry doing this in the middle of the video. Okay guys.
Hello.
We are. I'm Ultra Bro 5000, aka Orion. This is my friend Michael, and we will be reacting to Hannah.
My name is Mike.
So let's just get into it.
I got a muscle.
Launch you into adult life.
No thanks. I don't like doing scout camps. It's too intense for me.
Oh my gosh! What the heck? What?
Where?
Hi there.
Oh no! I've seen this before. I've
I'm
seen
Bryson,
that
and my
before.
parents forced me to occasionally sleep outside in the middle of nowhere and called it Boy Scouts, despite my massive amount of weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. And oh boy, do I have some stories about it. But as a gateway, they had me do Cub Scouts. The best thing I could say about Cub Scouts was that at least it was more chill. It was more like, okay, kids, today we're gonna do some bird watching and learn to tie a knot. But then Boy Scouts were like,
Build an ice igloo and sleep in it, or you'll die.
good luck. Seriously, the scout camps were so lawless. The only laws we followed were the laws of nature. Why were these adults giving 12-year-olds the power of fire? One year when my dad was a
Because
scout
you're
leader, he
12.
woke up to see that the boys had started a bonfire and were jumping through it. Stop!
What?
What are you boys thinking?
We were testing our courage, Bryson's dad. We were also testing Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection. If any of us are too weak, we'll fall in the fire and die, which will clean the gene pool, making the next
What's
generation
wrong with
Oh
it?
my
gosh!
Hey, that kind of makes sense. All right, let me
Stupid.
Oh,
If he
looks like we lost one.
Scouts had a thing called Cub
That's
Scout Day
crazy.
Camp, where you would show up, do activities as a group like the rain gutter regatta, duck duck goose, and tying knots. Then at night, your parents would pick you up and take you back to your air-conditioned house. So you
Good.
didn't actually have to sleep in the dirt. I remember being so jealous of the kids who had Lunchables. I was sitting there with a BLT sandwich with apple slices, a homemade cookie in the shape of a heart, and a handwritten
yummy.
note from my mom telling me how much she loved me. And meanwhile, Tyler had this. What a ripoff! But now, in retrospect, I'm grateful that my mom cared enough to pack me a lunch. One activity we did was we were going to learn how to make paper from
Paper.
only stuff found in nature.
What?
We were going to be the Bear Grylls of paper making. I was so excited to learn. But then we got there and they said, okay, class, here's how to make homemade paper. First, grab some toilet paper, get it
What
wet,
the?
mold it into the shape you want, let it dry, then you've got paper. Like, excuse
Are
me,
you for
that's
real,
like
bro?
saying,
Bro,
"Here's how to make
that's-
a chair from scratch. First,
That
grab a
is
chair,
stupid,
and
bro.
voila,
That is
you've
You
made a
showed your
chair."
face.
One useful thing they taught me was how to safely carve wood with a knife. Always aim the sharp end away from your body, and then stick the sharp end into another scout to conquer them. Through the tiger.
That's way too much gore. What
Still don't know what that is.
If
But
you are
the
kids,
will
do not
fall
watch
from a
this. Do not
fun,
watch this.
relaxed Cub Scout into a
Hard, manly Boy Scout.
and that meant going on campouts where I had to sleep in the wilderness.
Yeah,
Going
bro.
on
I
scout
would.
camps was really scary.
I
and
would sacrifice myself. I would
was
find
a
a
really
clip, be like,
sensitive kid.
I would find a clip, be like, sheesh. Oh.
So even just one-night camping trips were a nightmare for me. I was small and weak, so I couldn't hike as far as the other boys. I had gone on
Jojo.
a few one-night trips begrudgingly, but when they announced a week-long backpacking/camping trip, I begged my parents to let me stay home in the air conditioning and indoor plumbing. After much deliberation, they finally said I could stay home. I was so relieved, but then I stupidly tried to push my luck. This was around the time that the Nintendo 3DS was the hot thing that I desired more than anything in the whole world. So I asked, Mom, Dad, can I get a 3DS, please?
I'll buy you a 3DS
Really?
if you go to scout camp.
No!
Mm.
Can't I just get it for Christmas or something?
No, if you want one, you need to go on run this scout camp. Show us how unreliant you are on technology, and in return, we'll buy you more technology.
This was such an ordeal for little me. I wanted the 3DS so much, but I despised Scout Camp. My mind raced trying to figure out a solution. Maybe I'll mow people's lawns for money and do lemonade stands. I'll save up the money to buy it myself.
No! If you don't
Yeah.
you will never own a 3DS.
He said no.
Buy one even if you earn your own money.
This was a huge blow. I was devastated, and tragically, this was during the time when I still thought adults knew everything. And for some reason, I assumed that Dad could actually enforce this outlandish rule. I was trapped. I had to go. My parents said that the only way I could get a 3DS was if I went on this trip. Your parents are buying you a 3DS for this? My parents forced me to go or I'd be grounded all summer. Anyway, you want some cold pizza sauce and cheese on a cracker from my Lunchable? And then
Ew.
every morning we woke up, packed everything up, and hiked for like 12 miles every day. Then set up camp again. And I hated hiking. Everyone was always like, what a great view. But I was like, the view is never worth it. But nowadays, I like hiking and views. Of course, my legs are so long now that I only have to take 3 steps. But back then, I had little legs. I was so small and weak that the other scouts had to help carry my stuff, and I still feel bad about it. I'm so sorry for being small and useless, guys. I honestly wonder why I didn't get called a twerp more often, because I was one. It was probably a good thing I was so shy and quiet, because if I had let my true annoying self shine through, the other scouts probably would have killed me with hammers while the leaders laughed and said,
Super Smash Bros.
boys will be boys. Ma'am, your son is throwing rocks at the other children's heads.
Oh, boys will be boys.
No! Teach them how to not do stupid stuff.
Oh, so guys, let me just.
Be nice.
But
Okay.
I love myself just the way I am.
Well, the way you are right now sucks. Do better.
Dang.
Try harder.
No.
Oh.
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher.
Oh no. Oh no. That was just like Strongest Fighting Grounds. If you guys don't know it, check it out on Roblox.
Not to mention being bribed meant at least one good thing would come of all this. We hiked, sang, caught frogs, and made a shelter out of sticks and bark to get our wilderness survival badge. Looking back, though, it was funny how I always wanted to do my own thing, regardless of what the other boys were doing. They all decided to go skinny dipping in the pond, and I was like, no way am I doing that. But then Travis lost his swimsuit in the pond and had to streak back to his tent. I learned that the pond had leeches in it. The other boys wanted to stay up and make s'mores, and the leaders were going to teach us some life lesson about not swimming in leech-infested waters or something. And I was like, no, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Then on the drive home, we stopped at a burger place, and our leaders challenged us all to eat a burger with 4 patties. But I knew my weak stomach couldn't handle that, so I said, no thank you, and got a normal burger. And then everyone told me to go to college, and I was like, no, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And then the IRS told me to stop committing felony tax evasion, and I said, try and stop me. That's a joke. I love paying my taxes. But I did it. I finished the trip. Then I got home and was given a 3DS. Yippee! I'm never going camping again. The next big scout trip I was forced to go on was at this huge camp where tons of other scout troops were visiting. We arrived and this older scout came up to us. He held out his walking stick, pushed me aside, and said, get out of my way. In scouts, there's a hierarchy among the
Bro,
boys where the older
would-
boys are allowed to be mean to the younger boys.
I would
However,
literally
I
beat
also
that
had a glaring
scout.
physical flaw that always had me at the bottom of the list. I was small, so even the younger scouts could beat me up. This boy was an assistant leader at the camp, and it was immediately apparent to me that he was the type of guy to get 1 micron of authority and let it go directly to his head and abuse his power. But he was older, and that made him better than us. At least in his mind. I think it's really neat that you've earned all these merit badges, buddy, but I think you're missing some of the most important ones.
I
And
got a
those are
bucket.
the emotional
That's
maturity
mine.
badge,
Stop.
the coping with insecurity badge, and the going to therapy badge. Which is what I would have said if I had any confrontation skills. Instead, I kind of just observed his arrogant attitude and silently judged him. And then years later made fun of him online in a YouTube video.
Nice.
Who's laughing now? Anyway, the leaders took us to our campsite, and all of us slept in this rickety wooden structure filled with bunk beds. Then we went to a ton of merit badge classes and filled out packets. Great, we're just doing homework in the woods! But at least we had some downtime to just play card games together. However, one time while we were playing,
I
this
swear,
one
if you
kid,
thought
Sean,
that one
somehow
more time,
fell
I'm
out of
stopping
his top
this
bunk,
and destroying
did a
you.
flip through the air and slammed into the ground. Anyways, got any fours? No. I continued through the Boy Scout ranks reluctantly and against my will, and I had to get interviewed to become a Life Scout. But in case you forgot, I was a shy little guy. The Scout leaders asked me what I learned and what requirements I did and blah blah blah. Then one of the leaders said, "Can I give you some advice? You could work on your eye contact." Oh. And from that point on, I've been really good at eye contact. Sometimes being told to cut it out is the solution. Look at my eyes! Look at them!
See into my soul!
The next spring camp was a few years later. I was 16 and the leaders were like, "Hey kids, today we're gonna learn how to shoot a shotgun." And this was at a point where I still thought adults had it all figured out, so I was like, okay, seriously, why were they letting 16-year-old boys wield shotguns? Luckily we were okay, but what if one of the boys was feeling a little rambunctious that day? Or if they let their intrusive thoughts win? Young boys don't understand consequences yet. I'm 22 and I still don't understand them. Anyway, they gave me the gun and threw a clay pigeon for me to shoot. I hit it! My very first shot, and I hit it!
Wow.
And then I missed the next 9 shots. 10% ain't bad. It's better than most of my school assignments. Then it came time to do an Eagle Scout project. So with a lot of help from my parents, I built some shelves to help my middle school organize their theater stuff. I had done it. I earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And now I love camping. I'm so prepared for the real world now. Can we see your resume? And what experience do you have that you believe will help you excel in this role? I don't have a resume or any applicable experience. But check out this square knot, though. Honestly, though, I don't think I deserve this award. I can't even start a fire on my own. And I'm not very trustworthy,
Yes, you
loyal,
can.
helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, or reverent. My mom was the one that pushed for it, and I guarantee you that without her constant help with merit badges, camping gear, packing lists, and encouragement, I would not have earned this. She also helped my 3 brothers earn their awards, and I guarantee you that she can survive in the wilderness longer than me. She's the real Eagle Scout, not me.
God.
So, by the
Who's
power
the
vested
official
in me,
bee?
by me, I officially revoke my Eagle Scout status and I award it to my mom. The moral of the story is that it's okay for your parents to force you to try new things sometimes. Maybe you'll make a video about it
my
later.
friends
Okay,
outside.
that's all the time I've got. I've got to
Yeah,
get back to
yeah.
playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS. Hey guys, I'm sick right now.
Goodbye.
Yo, you wanna,
Guys, we were not watching anything. Let's go to Hamination.
Okay, you guys. The video's over.
No, it's not.
Wanna go outside and play with my friends?
No.
Well, have you ever met them? Like all of my friends?
No. I didn't mean none of them.
Wanna read them?
No. One more, guys. One more.
One more and
My
one.
brother almost died 18 times.
Nancy's office.
I'm hungry. I'll be right back, you guys.
Okay. Hello, guys. My friend paused the video, so yeah.
Hey, Brenna,
You're watching it
you
without
jump on
him.
this
Where's
cliff
the
right
food?
now. I'll give you.
Find it yourself.
Okay.
I'll go in the refrigerator.
Oh. Hi, I'm Bryson, and a while ago I made a video about the times I almost died and the times I got hurt really bad. But that got me thinking about the other injuries in my family, and one sibling came to mind. One who had dodged the grasp of death more times than I can count.
Yeah.
The sibling who had little to no regard for his own mortality and would regularly hurt himself. The wild child, if you will. The
Youngest.
youngest brother, Brenner.
Of course.
This is gonna be a long video.
I watched this
because
before,
Brenner gets
so, yeah.
injured a lot. I don't want to cut out good stories or do a part 2, so let's just sit down, relax, grab some popcorn, and laugh
Okay,
at my
guys,
brother's
grab some popcorn.
Now,
I'm
almost
gonna
all-
pause it.
I think
Okay,
it's only
ready?
right we start the video with Brenner's very first injury, the one he got from me. Brenner had
Can I
recently
do one
been
of
born,
these?
and my parents invited me into the room to say hi to my new baby brother. As I said hello to him, he reached out his hand and scratched my chest. Now, obviously, Brenner was just a baby. He had no
Hello,
control of his
everyone.
body and was just moving around.
Yo, they can't
But my 4-year-old
barely
brain
see the
could
video.
not let this slide. How dare you? First, you come into my house, take my spot as the cute youngest child and take all the attention from my parents? And now this? I offered you my hand in friendship, and you attacked me. You must pay recompense for your actions.
Hey, no, stop. Just calm down. Don't do it.
My parents tried to stop me, but it was too late. I reached out and scratched him back. He
There we go.
began to cry, and my parents put me in timeout. Little did Brenner know, his pain had just begun. Okay, in all seriousness, I felt really bad for what I did. Even now, I still regularly apologize to Brenner about it. But he can't even remember it, so he doesn't care. Brenner, my conscience has really been getting to me lately, and I'm so sorry about what I did.
Dude, that was 17 years ago. Can you just move on? I forgive you,
Oh, that's
okay?
my friend.
Thank you, I love you, Brenner. I'm so glad I could get that off my chest. Remember in my pain video when my
video
brother
too.
Brody slammed the door on my fingers? Yeah. Apparently that experience runs in the family. Brody walked through a door as a young Brenner was sticking his fingers in the hinges, and Brody slammed the door again. Brenner's fingers bent every which way.
If I had a nickel for every time I slammed a sibling's fingers in the door, I'd have 2 nickels. That isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Luckily, Brenner's fingers didn't break, and the doctors fixed him up. Feel better soon, buddy, and don't get into any more trouble.
I will make no such promises.
One time, me and Brenner were playing tag, and rather than be tagged by me, he jumped into a busy street and a car barely avoided him. I guess Brenner was more willing to die than lose at tag. Would you rather die a terrible death or...
Definitely death.
Wait, you didn't hear the other option?
Death.
I genuinely don't know why he is so accident prone, but this next story was no accident. You know how sometimes your mom has a really good friend, so she decides to make you hang out with her friend's children, but you don't like them? Yeah. When I was younger, my mom sent me and Brenner to play with the neighbor kids, Jake and Steven. The main reason I didn't like Jake was because he said, "Your sister is so hot." Brittany was 18. Jake
Okay,
and I were
that's
8.
sus.
Have you considered shutting up? Anyways, I spent the day tolerating Jake's shenanigans, but eventually I hid from him on the front porch and watched Brenner and Steven play in the front yard. "Come here, Brenner, I want to show you something." Brenner walked up to him, Steven grabbed his hand, reached into his pocket, and pulled out a pair of scissors and started cutting Brenner's fingers. "Stop!" I ran over to them to check on Brenner. His fingers were bleeding and he was crying. I slapped the scissors out of Steven's hand, grabbed him by the arm, and forced him inside to his mom. "Hey, Steven just cut Brenner's fingers with scissors." Oh, Steven. What? That's it? I was shocked. Call my
Man, I
mom
would-
right
I
now
would
so
look
she can
really
pick
beat
us up.
the shit
We're
out of her,
leaving.
bro.
We left, and Brenner's fingers healed just fine. But still, that reaction from the mom was not okay. Luckily, I never had to go to that family's house again. Reminds me of another time Brody was really young and another boy was punching him. My mom took the kid to his mom and told her that his son was hitting Brody. And all she did was say, "Soft hands, Hunter." I mean, come on, soft hands? How about punishing your kid for hitting a stranger?
You clearly don't know how to discipline children. Here, I'll show you how it's done.
A lot of Brenner's
That's what
injuries
your
were
dad was
caused by
doing.
him wanting to grow up fast and to keep up with his older brothers. For example,
My turn. Bryson doesn't need training wheels on his bike, so neither do I.
Whee! Yay!
Let me try.
So cool. I'm the best.
Oh my
one
god.
time Brenner tried to set a trend that the other brothers would follow, and the consequences were severe. This next story is the real reason I made this video. I'm honestly still surprised that Brenner survived this. It was bad. In our
Save big this week
What's
on
that,
Legal
guys?
Deals.
Okay, guys, we're back.
we had a tall exercise machine that looked like this. Brenner decided that he wanted to climb it and jump off it onto our beanbag for fun. However, this time it went horribly wrong.
Oh,
Brenner
no.
pushed the beanbag close to the machine, climbed up, and jumped headfirst with the same regard for his life that a Minecraft player has when seeing one block of water at the bottom of a cliff. Part of the beanbag covered the exercise bench, which extended out, hiding the big metal part underneath. Brenner thought that since there was part of the beanbag there, it would be soft. But his head slammed through the beanbag into the metal part and he split his forehead wide open. Mom
Man,
and
I would
Brittany
be
came
dead.
running in,
Like,
Brenner
I would
crying
be dead.
with
I would
blood
be like,
all over
goodbye.
him. They freaked out and dashed him out of the house to take him to the hospital. I only caught a glimpse of him as they ran out, but I could tell it was bad.
Oh
Brittany
my
and
god.
Mom later told me that they could see Brenner's skull through the gash in his head. My dad sent me to a friend's house so they could watch me while my parents took care of Brenner. I remember sitting on their stairs, terrified that I'd never see Brenner again. God, please hear my prayer. If you make Brenner be okay, I promise I'll never be mean to him again.
Jesus.
At the hospital,
Nice.
since Brenner was so accident-prone, they kept
Guys, that's
pointing to
gone.
cuts on his
Guys,
head that were
that's
from
gone.
previous
Inspect him.
shenanigans. Is this cut old or new? Is this cut old or new? Is this old or new? Finally, my sister was like,
This, the gaping gash on his forehead, that is new. Forget the rest of it. Fix that.
somehow the doctors patched him up. I think they even had a plastic surgeon involved in fixing his head. When I next saw Brenner, he was up on his feet with 25 stitches in his head. But he was okay. Phew! I thought you were gonna die, Brenner. I'm so glad you're okay.
Let's get back to
Anyway.
business.
Brenner still has a massive scar across his forehead. Thanks to the doctors, he was okay. Brenner, can you please calm down on the injuries? You're gonna die if you're not careful.
It's not hard to die. I could do it like right now. But like number two.
Another time, a young Brenner was using the bathroom and found a bottle of painkillers on the countertop. They were coated in a sugary glaze to make them go down easier. So Brenner took the pills one by one and sucked on them till they ran out of sugar, then spat them out. He did this over and over and over, and from sucking on the pills, he got sick and passed out.
I'm tired.
My mom discovered Brenner unconscious on the bathroom floor surrounded by pills.
What?
And once again, the doctors proved why it's good to go to college. Not for me, though. But as for you guys, good for you. I don't know how they saved him, honestly. I don't really know how doctors work. For all I know, they could have removed all of Brenner's blood, which was tainted with drugs, thrown it away, then pumped him up with fresh blood. I don't know. Another time, he swallowed a bunch of coins, and again, my parents rushed him to the hospital where he was x-rayed to show a pile of coins in his stomach. They told my poor parents to dig through his, waist until they got all the coins. He was like a piggy bank, but way more disgusting. He was like a piggy bank, but way more disgusting. Honestly, with how often Brenner visited the hospital, I'm surprised they didn't have a special section of the hospital just for him. This next story is surprisingly the only time that Brenner has ever broken a bone. You would think at this point that he would have no bones left because of how often he works, but no, he still has bones. My family has a small motorcycle that we call Big Bertha. It's fun to ride around on, but it has no suspension. It is 2 wheels and a motor. That's it. One day, Brenner was driving it, and despite knowing that Big Bertha had no suspension, he decided to ride it off a curb. The bike bounced, Brenner swerved and lost control, and he went head over handlebars. He landed on his arm and totally snapped his wrist. One hospital trip
I can
later,
just
and Brenner
feel
had a
it.
cast.
Guys, can't
He
you
wanted
feel
his
it? I can
cast
just
to be
feel it,
unique,
bro.
So he asked me to paint it to look like Thanos' gauntlet. So I got the paint out and painted it as best I could to look like the gauntlet. It looked pretty cool in my opinion. But then later, Brenner's arm got itchy. The doctors told him that his arm would be itchy at first, but that if he ignored it, the itchiness would go away. They also specifically told him to leave the cast alone and to not shove anything into the cast to try and scratch his itch. However, the itch got the better of Brenner. So without consulting anyone, he grabbed Brody's glasses and started shoving the long end into his cast in an attempt to scratch his itch. He pulled the glasses out only to realize that the little rubber covering had slipped off and it was now stuck in the cast. Determined to scratch his itch and recover the rubber cover, Brenner somehow removed all of the soft wrappings underneath the cast, leaving only the hard outer shell. Brenner had scratched his itch and was satisfied. Then Mom walked in and saw what Brenner had done. They went back to the hospital and explained the situation. Can you imagine being a doctor and setting someone up with a nice cast to help them heal, and the next thing you know, they ruined it?
I feel like the maid. I just cleaned up this mess. Can we keep it clean for 10 minutes?
They had to cut off his Thanos cast and make another one for him. Brenner got home and asked me to paint his new cast. No, I spent a lot of time painting that last one and you ruined it. How do I know you won't ruin it again?
Come
Where
on,
did
man,
he go?
just paint it again.
Why should I be penalized because of your sloppiness?
So Brenner went around wearing a lame blue cast rather than a cool Thanos cast. A few months later, the doctors took off the cast and they realized that Brenner's arm had healed crooked. It was literally like a 15-degree angle. My mom pointed this out and the doctor said, "Yeah, well, it's within the range of crookedness that we consider to be acceptable, so we're just gonna leave it like that."
What? That's easy for you to say. You're not the one who has to live with a crooked arm. Fix his arm and do it right this time.
So the doctors explained that in order to fix it, they would have to re-break Brenner's arm, angle it correctly, and recast it.
Do it. Wait, what?
Hold them down.
Wait, no.
So they did that, and Brenner's arm...
Okay, guys, we're back. Oh, I know.
correctly, but not without pain. Now, you would think that after breaking his arm on Big Bertha, that Brenner would never touch that thing again, right? Nope. Let me tell you one last story. One day, me and Brenner got bored and decided to go for a ride. Him on Big Bertha and me on my go-kart. We chased each other around a parking lot, but then I thought, how can I make racing around more interesting? And my mind went to my favorite racing game, Mario Kart. You know, the game where you destroy your enemies by throwing items at them. So I decided to drive by Brenner and throw my flip-flops at him. We went back and forth throwing flip-flops at each other like green shells for some time. Then I zoomed by and got a good flip-flop strike on Brenner, and he wanted to retaliate with something stronger. He grabbed a big tree branch and drove towards me. He swung the branch and I swerved out of the way. But the branch was so heavy that swinging it threw Brenner off balance. He swerved and flew over the handlebars once more.
Again? Freaking again!
Brenner was scraped and bruised, but luckily nothing broke. And he finally learned his lesson, and he doesn't drive Big Bertha anymore. But I do.
Oh! Oh my
That's not even all of Brenner's injuries. But if I keep talking about them, this video is going to be 30 minutes long. And at that time, he'll probably injure himself again. Let's quickly get through some last stories. Lightning round. We visited a janky aquarium that let you swim with sharks, and a bamboo shark bit Brenner's finger. Brenner went to a trampoline park, attempted a stupid trick, and landed on his head and had to wear a neck brace for a few weeks. Brenner and Brody went kayaking. Brody tried to splash Brenner with the paddle, but it skipped off the water, slammed into Brenner's face, and cracked his front teeth. A car almost backed over him as a child, but he hung onto the bumper while being dragged, and my sister stopped the car to save him. His friend accidentally shot him in the forehead with a BB gun, and his forehead still has a dent. In conclusion, Brenner's guardian angel is built different, because she's seen Brenner more times than I can count. And as much as I make fun of him, I am grateful for that. As he has grown, I think he has gotten a little less accident prone. Let's hope it keeps going in that direction, because I'm pretty sure he has used up all of his 9 lives. God has sent his soul back to the living world so many times at this point that if Brenner shows up there again, God might just say, "Oh, forget it," and keep him. Well, hey, it could be worse. At least his soul is going to heaven. Hey guys, it's me.
Okay,
See you
guys.
later, guys.
Thanks for watching.
One sec.
It's been a while,
Yeah.
so let me make some
Bye,
announcements.
guys. One
I'm
sec.
a featured creator at
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We will see you next Saturday.
Peace out.
Peace.